Welcome to the Energy Transition Summit, the Western Australian Government's first summit dedicated to one of the greatest challenges and opportunities of the next century. The challenge? Decarbonising our state to confront climate change. We partnered with the federal government through a $3 billion loan facility to transition our energy transition. In particular, to upgrade the northwest grid in the Pilbara, where 40% of the state's emissions are currently produced. I'm pleased to announce $708 million towards expanding and improving WA's main electricity grid.
Australia has one of the world's largest pipelines of announced hydrogen projects, valued at around or at between 200 and 300 billion. By 2050, Australia's hydrogen industry could create $50 billion in additional GDP and create over 16,000 jobs. And we want Western Australia to be a big part of this picture. And today, again, I'm pleased to announce the next steps of the important Kwinana Hydrogen Hub that is being supported with $70 million in funding from the Albanese government. We're announcing today that the project is now progressing to front-end engineering design, bringing us a major step forward for the future of WA's hydrogen industry.
Has the potential to be what you refer to, Premier, as a green energy superpower, and what I refer to as an electorate state of the future. Let's make it happen.
This transformation is large and complex. It requires an expert team to manage the extraordinary scale of electrification and the speed it needs to be delivered. We understand the challenges. We know that there's a lot more work to be done, but we have the plans in place to manage our transition. And our plan is delivering the stable, low-carbon energy supply to reach net zero by 2050.
Some of the projects that we're working on here to build a hydrogen industry, low-carbon hydrogen. And the thing that's attractive about hydrogen, of course, is that when the customer uses it, it has no emission.
We as Australia have such a critical role to play for the world in that there are so many other countries that are depending on all of us in this room to work together to make this happen in this time frame so that collectively we have a hope of meeting the Paris climate commitment.
We would love to be operating and maintaining the transmission backbone that enables all of these green products to reach industry and therefore secure WA's role in the decarbonisation aspirations of the planet.
A successful energy transition is essential for the continued growth of the WA economy. And that's why this summit today is so important, to continue to explore how we can support that transition and support economic growth in this state. There's continued role for gas. There's continued investment in mining and resources to develop the minerals we need to support the transition, as I said, not only in this state, but around the world.
Look, I think the opportunity for innovation here is enormous. I think we've experienced this in our decarbonisation, that really so much of the innovation came from the field, and just giving people the task to say, go and do it and see what's possible. And you can do that here. And that's the wonderful thing, I think, about West Australia to do that.
We want to make sure that our members want to make sure that we've got a tripartite arrangement so that we are talking with all the players around the table to get the outcomes we need. We want to make sure that there's jobs for our members inside this new economy, and we want to make sure they get the education they need to get there.
And the government announced another $2 billion in support for the critical minerals industry, taking the total support for the sector to over $5.5 billion. Companies like IGO, Tianqi, Wesfarmers, SQM and BHP have all chosen Kwinana to turn Western Australian ores into battery-grade lithium and nickel.
And in terms of what big companies can do to support innovation, we also support many smaller startup companies with their innovative processes to see if there's something that we can add to them.
We all have a different history, different background. The university course is very different in France, in US, in Australia, etc., in China and Korea. And it helps because we look at things differently. And that's how you get the best ideas.
We're all going to have to lean in. We're all going to have to be part of the solution. It's going to mean that we're going to have to think really differently about this. We're going to have to work really differently about this, and we're going to have to take some leaps of faith without all the answers. But we need to get going, we need to make decisions, and we need to chart a direction if we really want to unlock probably the next biggest opportunity, not only for the Pilbara but also for the state.
We are working in a dynamic environment here in which the technology and the opportunities are going to continue to change.